Hey, we're back. I know that's like, it's been a long time.
Okay, don't
So,
get
nice movie.
too comfortable
Oh, yeah.
because I think it's now you.
Oh, yeah. So, my movie is The Northman. Let's check out a little trailer.
Yeah, let's see that.
Those drums start going.
Uh-huh.
Now, behold.
He's here. He's here.
It's like Baby Conan.
Father is here. The king, milady. The king.
Your fate is set and you cannot escape it. How I've missed you, my son. One day this kingdom will be yours.
Thank you, father. My king. I can feel that. I will avenge you, father! I will save you, mother! I will kill you, Fiona!
I will avenge your father. I will save your mother. I will kill you, Fiona.
Why would he stow away to such a hellish place?
To find what was stolen from me.
And what is that?
The kingdom.
You must choose between kindness for your kin or hate for your enemies.
Your strength breaks men's bones. I have the cunning to break their minds.
And night by night, we will carry out my pledge of vengeance.
I will avenge your father.
I will avenge you, father.
I will save your mother.
I will save you, mother.
I will kill you, Fiona.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So
Yikes.
The Northman. It's it's basically a sort of a this Vikings and the father is teaching his son Prince Amleth. The father is actually what's this guy's name? It's
The father?
yeah, it's a King Aurvandil Var Raven, War Raven. Who's
Good luck on
Ethan
that
Hawke.
one, yeah.
His mother is Nicole Kidman, a Queen Gudrun or Gadrun. The hey, I can hear myself over there. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, a lot of echo there.
so, anyway, so it's actually he's teaching his son how to be a the next, because he's gonna be the next in line, so he got to be a great powerful king and how to rule, and it's kind of very much a way of ruling. You gotta pillage and plunder and take the women and all that kind of old school
Very macho.
way of thinking. So, and of course, in the movie, I guess it's not a spoiler. The father gets killed by his brother, the kid's uncle, who's Fjolnir the brotherless, played by Claes Bang. So now he kills Amleth, the Viking, when he's young. He kills his father and runs away with his mother. So, and he tries to kill him too because he doesn't want to have he'll be the next heir. So, but he escapes and survives. And I go, well, this kind of reminds me a little bit of Conan the Barbarian. Yes. And I go,
You
it's
keep
like,
going back to that movie.
but because it's but I go, it kind of reminds me of Conan the Barbarian and Hamlet.
Yeah.
I
And
think
then-
it's based on
But
Hamlet.
here's the thing,
Very much a Shakespeare.
that actually Hamlet is based on Amleth. Prince, it says the tragedy of Hamlet. It says the story of Shakespeare's Hamlet was derived from the legend of Amleth, preserved by a 13th century chronicler Saxo Grammaticus and his guest Danorium. Basically, Hamlet is based on this Viking story,
Was
which
Hamlet
is this
Danish?
story.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, yes, it's called the tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark.
Mhm.
So basically, this is the story that Hamlet is based on. What are some of those theories? So
Wow.
So And I kept telling him watching the movie, it's like, this movie seems very Shakespearean the way they act.
I agree.
In the beginning, because I love those kind of movies, but I was having a hard time because it feels like a play. You know, am I watching a play? And why are they talking? I understand that they're talking like Vikings, but they're also talking like Shakespeare Vikings. You know, like they're doing a play. I would now go and exactly. So,
but I also think that we would consider Shakespeare now like classy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But they didn't think
Probably,
that's the way they talked.
In fact, that's how they talk. Yeah, right. So, and then it is entertaining. I like it. It had a lot of magic. It had a lot of the cinematography, a lot of very dream sequences that I really enjoyed. I was just having a hard time. Again, I thought it was too long, but I think that the channel Shakespearean way of talking was throwing me off because I was like, I thought I was watching like the Vikings put a Shakespeare play, and I'm watching it now. That's what I felt like to be. We're gonna do Shakespeare. What if you under? So, and I was like, what the hell is the Green Goblin doing here, man? This movie. And when is Björk gonna start singing? Come on, man. So, so I would say I kind of enjoyed it a little bit.
Okay. Well, when I was like this movie, I was like, wow. It was really hard to watch.
Why?
I thought it was a very good movie, but a movie I did not enjoy watching. Oh. It was to do with the content, a world one would not want to live in, right? Oh, yeah. I wouldn't either as a man or a woman. I would not want to live in this world. It's not like you go, oh, gee, I wish I lived in those times.
But I do like Iceland.
Great hair. But
great hair.
Definitely not the Renaissance. You know,
right.
I'm not a believer in the word toxic masculinity, but this movie is toxic masculinity, right? It was a depressing life. Basically, the movie is a movie of betrayal and revenge, which is kind of classic dilemma. There are few surprises. Nicole Kidman's character brings some interesting insights. Mm-hmm. There are moments between Amleth and Olga of the Birch Raven, who is, what's her name? Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy. She's the Queen's Gambit.
Woman.
Yeah, and that's another thing in the movie. I didn't need all these famous people. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, oh, that's
Susie
Nicole
does not
Kidman.
like that.
Oh, that's the Queen's Gambit. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I didn't need those. It kind of took me out of, which actually was kind of relieving at the time. I would be like, oh my God. And she was a little tender and humanizing. Their relationship was good. It was like the only thing really nice in the movie. It was beautifully shot, and also like as you can see from those previews, the
visuals.
Color of the movie is exactly the emotional tone of the movie.
Right.
Yeah, and it's really like a low consciousness level. Yes. That's one thing that
was vibe.
Yeah, it was. But one thing about the movie that I liked that made me think it was like the magic. You know how I was saying to George, I was like, you know, like magic was much more a part of people's lives back then.
Right.
You know what I mean? You could call it superstitious. Yeah. I wouldn't call it that. I would call it they were in touch with this thing that we might call religion
right.
or science.
Yeah. Right.
Mother
they had magic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. So it was they added another dimension to this really I don't even know the word. I know there's a word.
You know, a great description for it. It's like it's basically watching Conan on psychedelics.
Watching what?
Conan on psychedelics.
Oh no,
man! I would have liked Conan if I had been on psychedelics.
You would have.
So, anyways, that's it. It was kind of it's kind of monotonous and dull. The
feel of it,
the life is, you know what I mean? It's monotonous and dull, and then occasionally violent and awful. So, but
everything life should be. Huh?
Yeah, there was nothing uplifting about this movie, but it was
normal life back then.
But this was the movie.
Yeah.
So it's not the movie itself. I thought it was incredibly shot, incredibly acted. It was actually the subject matter.
Yeah.
Don't you think that the color of the movie, the visual color of the movie, was about revenge, because that's what he's keeping a boy's perspective of what he saw.
Well, the colors.
And so it colors your vision of the world
Yeah.
as you go through life.
I don't
just
know.
thought-
That blood
yeah,
was really red at times.
The what?
The blood
You have
was
a
really
better
red
T-
at the
you have a better
time.
TV
I
than
just
I
thought
do.
it was blue. I would consider a cold color, you know, and the movie
And it was.
is
Some
very
of it was
blue.
muted. Yes,
You know,
exactly.
it's
The blue
a
and gray
very-
tones.
yeah.
It's very great.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of describes the life.
Mhm.
It was like long and hard and oh my God, it would be like, no wonder they thought about heaven. It's like, thank God, you know, get out of this life.
But they all had fabulous hair.
They had fabulous hair. I will give you that.
Oh, they
Okay,
did.
Lon. go ahead.
Well, it's sort of funny because I had seen Robert Edgar's The Witch,
Oh, I
which
love
is
that.
very much
That's a
in
great
same
movie.
tone, to be quite honest.
Mhm.
In fact, that's what I was going to point out because Anya Taylor-Joy was also in The Witch.
Yeah.
In fact,
And he did this movie too, right?
see, that's the funny
Yeah.
thing. He uses William Dafoe was in The Lighthouse. Now that I have not seen.
Okay.
Okay. And then even Ralph Fiennes was also in The Witch, and he was in this movie. So I think he does like to use actors. But most importantly, his cinematographer, who was
Oh, fantastic.
Jaron Blaschke, I'm not sorry if I mispronounced the name, production designer Greg Lathrop, and then costume designer Linda Moore, worked on all three of his films.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's why he does have a unique look to his stuff, which
Yeah,
is, you're
does.
correct. Because I find when I watched The Witch, I thought exactly the same thing you did. What a bleak movie this is. correct?
Exactly, yeah.
The Witch was fabulous.
Yeah.
But it was very good. It was
Yeah.
very fascinating, right? But yet, you know, okay, something's killing these people in this family. And what is it? Is it supernatural or not? So that's why I thought, okay, I can't watch any more of his movies
Yeah,
because
yes.
it's so depressing.
Yes, yes.
So I skipped The Lighthouse. I really did. Which again,
Yeah,
Willem
me
Dafoe, and I think the Batman, the new Batman guy.
Oh, sure. You know,
He's in
Batman.
it, the Twilight actor?
Yeah, exactly.
Patterson.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
The vampire. guy.
Patterson. They were both there. So
Oh, okay.
again, another bleak movie about a remote area. So then it's like The Northman. Oh, I didn't really want to see it because I heard it's violent, right? So then it's like, okay. So I go and I start watching this. The first thing I have to admit I watched is what I got was the Shakespearean part, the betrayal of the brother and this and that and the revenge. So I thought, oh, this is actually working on a level of Shakespeare, which actually continues to even the end. Like you said, that's where
Right.
a lot of things are revealed. But then I'm watching it. At one point, they're wearing like wolf skin heads. They're dancing around a fire. I said, this is like watching a Native American ceremony.
Yeah.
Seriously, right? And then the mysticism, because you're right. The thing with Bjork, and that was the shocking thing. It's like, I kept thinking, is that Bjork? Because I don't know why I kept saying, is that Bjork? And it's like, I had no idea until I saw the
In
credits.
the middle of this scene, right? That's
Well,
Bjork.
no,
Yeah.
and the way the costume, like her eyes were taken away from her, so you don't. She sort of slightly covered her face. But I'm listening to that voice, and I said,
He said the
"That's
same
gotta
thing.
be
Yeah,
Bjork."
no, the voice,
you know?
the voice, like that's Bjork.
But I couldn't tell, right?
Mhm.
And then, of course, when I saw they went to Iceland, that's like, okay, that had to be Bjork,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right? And then it's like, I'll give it to this Alexander Skarsgard. I thought, as the adult prince, I thought he's very good. And like you said about the Anya Taylor-Joy character, that
Yeah.
I liked hers because she was the practical person. Like he basically disguises himself and becomes a slave. He actually brands himself, said, I'm going to go slave because he just heard how his uncle lost the kingdom and is now getting kicked off into the island in the north. So he decides that's where he's going to get his revenge. He's on the boat, meets this girl, and she's saying, if you want to be a slave, you have to start acting like a slave. I mean, she's basically coaching him on how to
Yeah.
do it, to which he does listen to her. I give him credit. He thinks, yes, I can't be just out proud, big monster man and do all this stuff. And so once he gets there, you're thinking, okay, well, Nicole Kidman recognized him because she now is, his uncle's wife, and they have had a child together. And he also had a child, though. So Thorir, I believe is his name. So he's also sort of kowtowing to him, knowing that how arrogant this young kid's behaving. So you got all this drama going on, but it is the mysticism part that I was sort of fascinated by. Because like The Witch, it's like, okay, they're really taking this part seriously. So this is probably how the culture was at the time, right?
Yes.
And I agree. Whether it actually happened or not, but I do know, like at least in Native American, they do use hallucinogens, right? And to which they bring up the same thing in this movie, right? About using mushrooms, right? So it's like, okay, this is sort of odd. And I swear to God, for some reason, when he goes to see I think he's billed as the He Witch, the one who tells him where to find this weapon he's going to use to kill someone. I thought it was Stellan Skarsgård. I thought it was his father. It's like, it looks like him, it sounds like him, but I can't tell because they're all wearing stuff on their face and their hair and everything. So that's the one thing I'll admit. I thought, wow, the cast is really sort of fascinating. The drama at least is keeping me reeled in because I think it is sort of predictable. Though I must admit, I did like the ending a lot. I said, that's almost like a perfect ending to me because it seemed, in a moral and ethical way, it seemed appropriate.
It kind of reminded me of the end of Mists of Avalon, where there's this kind of...
Oh, yes,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Or if you were religious, would be like heaven.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
No, exactly. And that's what I mean. And that's why I thought and like you had said, what I sort of appreciated, it was sort of filmed in earth tones, oddly enough. It's either brown and green, blue and gray, and or the volcanic stuff, the fire, orange and stuff. So I had to admit, I thought, this guy is a sort of a fascinating director. So I'm assuming this is his first sort of bigger budget film. In fact, now I'm going to go and try and watch The Lighthouse because I'm sort of curious.
Yeah, me too.
Except I bet you it's going to be really bleak.
I didn't see The Witch. So
but he does.
The Witch is fabulous.
Because he does create a unique time and place and world. And, the writer also, I guess, was Sjörn and Robert Edgers. So I think he's bringing his sort of American, possibly in that Native American take to it. But
no, I think
Sjörn is a poet. So I think that's also why the language and stuff, I think what you said, I think that's what added possibly to it. I'm not sure. In fact, I'm not even sure, but I want to say he and Bjork worked together. I could be wrong on that, but I want to say that. Like whether it's with the sugar cubes or something.
Movie, aren't you?
Well, exactly. And like I said, it's interesting, cameos. And like I said, not even necessary, but I think it was the fact that he just probably asked these, can you be in my movie? Da-da-da, I can't pay you much or something. And that's why I thought they like him enough as a director. And to me, I've always liked that. Because that tells you people are loyal to you, meaning they recognize your talent or your vision, and they would like to be a part of it.
Yeah, and they work well together. I mean, it's like anything. When you work a lot with a person, it becomes kind of like greased.
Yes.
You just don't have it just works.
And you have that sort of, like I said, because going from The Witch to seeing this, even I said, wow. And then when I saw, I had to look.
See The Witch. I've never seen it.
I might pick that as my next movie because that is a great movie.
It looks pretty intense when I see the trailer.
Very intense.
And the thing is, like I said, what I like most about it is like, okay, it's visually interesting, costuming. I mean, literally just the way it looks. That's why I have to give it to those three people. It's like, okay, they know what he wants. He knows they know, or along with the writer. I thought, see, that's where the cohesiveness comes to. So.
Okay, Pat?
I took a whole different look on this. I agree with everything you say. Okay. But I saw it as a young boy who sees a situation and places it like this is reality, and to him it is. And he must do what his father has told him you do in this situation. And what I noticed was the only time they really showed colors is with the women, when the women were around. Because they seem to have, the guys were of this very macho, kill or be killed, sacrifice, revenge kind of attitude. And the women were much more enlightened, but you're dealing with idiots. So what do you do, right? So how do you get through? And
they had to work around that world.
Yeah. And I'm sure, even up till the 80s, I'm sure women, even today, women have to still do that. But it's like, it's a way of thinking for this young boy who just focuses his life on that's the way, this is what he has to do in his life. That's it. And life will be good after that or whatever the hell.
Mm-hmm.
And
life will be right.
Yes. The balance will be.
Yeah.
When he hears his mother's version, his world is kind of blown apart because that's the reality of the situation. But he doesn't want the reality. He wants his father's beliefs into his beliefs, and that's the way he's going, no matter what. And if they played those drums one more friggin' time, the music was way too loud. You know what I mean? The drums, everything was so boom, boom, boom.
You were
boom,
like,
boom, boom.
that was Inspector Clouseau's captain, just twitching every time you heard him.
Yeah, the twitch I could handle. But I thought it was interesting. The women were trying to, it was like they had a whole different lifeline to something that the men could not dial into. And, but they're trying to bring them along this path that they kind of got them on, but they couldn't get them on. So I found it very frustrating because it's like the same old story for many, many generations.
Yeah, actually, when you mentioned that, I noticed the women seem to be more pragmatic in the film.
Well, they have to be.
Well, seemingly, at least.
Women
at this
are
time period.
pragmatic. They're more realistic.
That's the strength, I find.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and also too is the magic in it does not take away from that, and vice versa. And the thing is, the magic got a little too much for me because I found it very confusing about the magic, especially that lady with the fur in her face or
Oh,
something.
you mean Bjork?
Yes, Bjork. But I found it could have been shorter.
Yeah.
I like things rounded up, and it didn't do it for me. You know what I mean? It could have. Iceland, I'd kill to go to Iceland because it's
Me
fire
too.
and ice.
Yes.
And that's what it seemed to be. Men were the fire, women were men were the ice actually, women were the fire, but it looked different. Does that make sense? It's like women
don't know
were
if I
actually
would
the
agree
fire
with
and the
that.
heart and everything.
The men seem to be the fire.
No, they were the bluster.
Yeah, that's
And everything was repressed, so they're the frozen part. The women really told the truth, and they weren't really accepted for that.
Well,
But see, that I actually agree with Susie on that one because the men were the ones who are like howling and
God,
screaming.
those
And
damn wolves.
that's the stuff
Drinking
with
water
fire.
from like a dog.
Right. Yet the women, like you said, were more reserved, quiet,
Yes,
and
yes.
like I said, intelligent because you could
because
tell.
they had to be.
Again, seemingly, right.
Survival, baby.
Exactly. In fact, like that's the one thing too. I just noticed that most of the women sort of were always wearing white as well. When I
Yeah.
noticed that, yeah.
And great hair.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that's how I saw it. I saw it as a boy's revenge, who even when he sees the truth and hears the truth,
Yeah.
keeps going like the old
Yeah,
way.
I never. That's very interesting because you're right. It was like he got stuck at whatever age that was,
Right.
12,
Yeah.
and that's how he saw it. He lived his whole life
With that purpose.
with that 12-year-old's
Right, mine.
Purpose.
consciousness.
Right.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
And that the mother turned out to be such a bitch was really good.
I don't think she turned out to be
Spoilers.
that. I don't think she was
Yeah,
a
right.
bitch.
No,
I don't think she was a
I'm kidding,
bitch.
Sue.
Right.
I know.
I think that life also put her in a certain position.
Absolutely.
Very much
And
so. Yes.
Mhm.
But she loved this guy and she liked him better than the husband. You know
she
what I
didn't
mean?
like the husband at all.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
She couldn't stand him.
Spoilers galore.
But you
And
don't
then she
know
saw
that.
dead people.
Yeah.
But then you don't know that.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like because she's very stoic.
Yeah.
You know, she does seem a bit distant with him,
Yes.
with the son.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
You know, so So
Mhm.
yes.
I'd be interested to see the grading here.
Okay, so I give it. Don't take my
Grading?
no. What was that movie we saw with the two guys? It was that you mentioned it during the movie.
Really?
There was the night. Oh, you remember? It was like the.
I wish you were watching this movie that reminded us
yeah,
of another movie.
the two actors, the two guys. They were
What
both
you
nice.
guys? So, second word.
What is the...
I'm trying to think. You know, the Bourne series.
Oh, you mean like
Jason Bourne?
Like,
no,
what do you mean like
the actor
Matt Damon.
Oh, Matt Damon and
Matt Damon.
Oh, the
one-
last duel. The last
The
duel.
Last Duel?
The Last Duel.
Oh, okay.
Which was kind of like
Yes.
very
That's similar.
but it was
very much so.
but it was
Yeah.
different in that
Right.
it was
a perspective movie.
also
Three
it was a
different perspectives.
higher like I was saying, we're a little closer to the Renaissance there.
Right.
He didn't even touch the Renaissance.
This was like just okay. What I don't like is the actual what makes the movie good. Is that it's like that it's so
Yeah, that's
real.
true.
It's so real
Right.
that I'm going to give the movie a 9. But
Wow.
but it's so
Yeah.
don't take my I don't like it.
I know. You don't have to like it to give it a 9.
It was an excellent movie. It was an excellent movie. It was shot well. It was directed well. The cinematographer was amazing. The acting was great.
9 to hear Lon. Lon's always
Yeah.
fascinates
Oh.
me. What was yours, Lon?
Well, I gave it a 6, but because of what you had said,
Yeah.
I found it very hard to watch.
Yes.
You know,
Really?
even though I do respect,
The
like you said, the
Yes.
actual cinematic
Yes,
quality that it
yes,
has and the
yes.
world that he creates.
Yes.
But that's what I enjoyed about it. The story itself and sort of, like I said, almost, I hate to use the word meanness, but really
There
just
is a
sort of like,
meanness.
Yes.
it was like, you know, that's what has to go on. So you're sort of expecting it. And it's sort of like watching like The Raid.
Mhm.
You know what's
Yes.
going on. It's like, oh, but do I
Right.
really have to watch this? It's
You have to
really
show me
disgusting.
every detail of it.
Jim,
But-
just show me the
yeah.
hyena killing the baby elephant.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I gotta say, Lon,
Yeah.
I gave it a 6 too.
Oh, okay.
George?
Yeah, the same thing. I actually, I had no problem with the violence because I love Game of Thrones and stuff like that.
You have the problem with the
I did
violence?
did
He loved it.
And speaking of,
I loved it too.
well, speaking of, there's a scene where apparently, speaking of Game of Thrones, the mountain,
Yeah.
he fights the mountain.
I didn't see the
They're
mountain.
slaves, and I go,
Right.
I missed that. Well, I missed
Yeah.
that scene. They cut it. I don't know what
No.
I've seen that. So I would have known that one.
That was in the game. Yeah, when they're playing the game. Remember when he hit
Oh,
the big guy?
that was the
Kind of
oh, the
lacrosse.
game. Okay, there you go.
You just gave me my next movie.
That was it. Okay, but he was saying because I read a thing about it. He's saying that this actor 6'4", Skarsgard.
Right.
So he's pretty big. But he's saying that they have to fight, and he goes, he was like literally afraid because he goes, I know we're pretending, but if that guy hits me, I'm done. Because the mountain's like 6'9", and about 400 pounds. So
No, exactly.
he said he was like
Yeah.
looking up like that. I'm 6'4", doing this. Oh. So yeah,
So what'd you give it?
I would have, I would have given it like an 8 or 9 for the cinematography and everything, but because I felt like it was Vikings putting up a Shakespearean play, and I thought that I'd probably give it a 6 too.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 6 wins.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta pee.
Okay, so
So we'll be back.